We will now introduce today's witnesses. Professor Pamela Nadell. Professor Nadell holds the Patrick Clenenden Chair in Women's and Gender History and is the director of the Jewish Studies program at American University. She has taught a variety of courses on Judaism and Jewish and women's history and has published several related books. We appreciate you being here, Dr. Marcus. And Ms. Stacy Dr. Nadell, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you.
Hit that. Pull it close. Is the light on?
No, there. Let's try that. Sorry. Thanks. Thank you, Chairman Jordan, Ranking Member Nadler, and the distinguished members of this committee for inviting me to testify today.
Committee will be in order.
I am Pamela Nadell, a professor of history at American University, and I am writing a book called Antisemitism, an American Tradition, under contract with W.W. Norton. And I am a recipient of a National Endowment for the Humanities Public Scholars Award to write this book, and I am delighted to be able to thank the Congress for supporting the National Endowment for the Humanities, for supporting work that teaches us about the history of our nation, and for this prestigious award. Anti-Semitic behavior that we're seeing right now on college campuses, as we have heard so brilliantly from the students and also from Mr. Marcus, this anti-Semitism is part of anti-Semitism that is raging across the United States. The last time that I testified before this committee in 2017 was in November of 2017, just after, 3 months after, the white nationalists at the rally, the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, marched across the University of Virginia campus, brandishing tiki torches, and they were deliberately imitating the Nazi stormtrooper parades of the 1930s. During that hearing, I was opposed to Congress legislating any definition about anti-Semitism, and I remain opposed now because the definition keeps changing. It keeps morphing and changing over time. What I can do is I can give you some of the themes that are ensconced in the word anti-Semitism. Anti-Semites blame Jews for the death of Jesus and believe that the Jewish people across eternity should be punished for that crime. Anti-Semites believe that Jews have been corrupted by money since Judas sold Jesus out for 30 pieces of silver, and what they've done since then is they have used different code names over time, Shylock, Rothschild, and now George Soros, to signify avaricious Jews. Anti-Semites believe that Jews' primary loyalty is to their people around the world and not to the nations that they live in. That conspiracy theory gained traction in the United States when Henry Ford published in the Dearborn Independent over 91 weeks a series called The International Jew, the World's Foremost Problem. Today, that charge that Jews are internationalists goes under a different code word, globalist. Across American history, the people from all walks of life have conveyed these anti-Semitic ideas. New Amsterdam's Governor Peter Stuyvesant tried to expel, quote, this deceitful race, such hateful enemies and blasphemers of the name of Christ, close quote. The future president, John Quincy Adams, wrote, quote, the Jews would steal your eyes out of your head if they possibly could, close quote. Congressman Albert Johnson, a chief architect of the 1924 law establishing immigration quotas, told a Jewish reporter, quote, if the Jewish people combine to defeat the immigration bill as reported by the committee, their children will regret it, close quote. That was the past. What about today? We are just 5 months out from the massacre at the Tree of Life Synagogue, and I could give you so many other examples. As for the campus, anti-Zionism, meaning opposition to Israel's policies, absolutely crosses the line into anti-Semitism when it leads to discrimination, violence, harassment, intimidation, and bullying, as we have heard from the students today. The barbarity of the Hamas invasion, the torture, the rapes, the murders, and the taking of more than 200 hostages adds a terrible new chapter to Jewish history. Anyone who claims to care about human rights should denounce these horrors that so many students on college campuses not only did not, but that they claimed that the savagery was justified. it has caused not just students on campus, it has caused Jews around the world deep anguish. What happened on October 7th was not anti-Zionism, it was anti-Semitism. I deplore hate speech, but in the United States, in America, hate speech, including anti-Semitic speech, remains protected speech. For that speech stands at the core of liberal arts education, an education which I believe every single member of this committee benefited from when you were students at some of the nation's elite colleges and universities and the fine public colleges and universities that our country has. The value of free speech does not permit discrimination, bias, threats, or violence in any form, including on the campus. When these occur, our institutions of higher education have mechanisms for dealing with them. In May 2023, the White House published the U.S. National Strategy to Counter Antisemitism. The first time I believe that any nation in the world has published such a strategy. It talks about how to use Title VI to deal with problems of anti-Semitism on campus. I am a proud American, and I am a proud Jew. I never used to be afraid to identify as a Jew in this world. Since 2017, since that march in Charlottesville, I am afraid. We can work together in this country to resolve this problem, but it's not just a problem on campus. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Dr.